All right, so I think we can get started. Thanks everyone for attending tonight's meeting. My name is David. I'm the Director of Business Affairs here at the Second Ward office. Tonight, in partnership with Old Town Merchants and Residents Association, we'll be discussing the pending tavern license application for Cache at 1446 North Wells. As just a run of show, I think we're going to start off with introductory remarks from Alderman Hopkins and OTMRA, open it up to the applicant to discuss their business concept and proposed operations, and then we will open it up to a Q&A section where individuals can raise their hands and will be unmuted, where they can provide question and commentary. And then if time allows, we'll go to the Q&A chat box and answer any questions that have yet to be answered. To be cognizant of people's times, I think we want to get this at around 6:15. I'm sorry, 6:30, 6:45. So without further ado, Alderman, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, David. And thanks to Old Town Merchants and Residents Association for helping facilitate this meeting. I actually think this is the fastest turnaround time we've ever had from the decision to have a community meeting on a pending issue to actually having it. But time was of the essence, so we had to do it as expeditiously as possible. And OTMRA was helpful in getting the word out quickly. I think more people will be joining in the next few minutes as this meeting goes forward, because there was a significant amount of interest in this discussion. So with that, I just want to set the parameters and the expectations for tonight, and also to clear up a couple of things before we get started. First of all, this application did commence under the former 27th ward prior to the map being amended. It is now in the second ward. And as a result of that, there was some, I don't want to say confusion, but the transition was not smooth in terms of having the application being shifted from the 27th ward to my office. There was some delays involved in there, and this did not come to my attention until about 2 weeks ago. And that's well after the application had actually been filed. The notice had been mailed to the neighborhood throughout the perimeter of 250 feet from the license location. There was some discussion previously about whether the notice had gone out. In fact, the city did send out the notice, I believe, back in June. Perhaps some of you may have gotten it. Nevertheless, the timing here is not going to be impacted by this. We're a little bit late in the process, but that doesn't change our ability as a community to perform our due diligence. That's the purpose of this meeting tonight. And so far, all of the proper procedures for a liquor license applicant have been followed. The procedures have been respected. The law has been adhered to. We still have time to go forward with the remaining review. So that's what we're here to do tonight. With that, I do want to ask everyone to please be respectful tonight. The applicant has the right to present their proposal to this neighborhood. That is something that I feel very strongly about. Doesn't mean that you don't have to have your mind made up already. And I know from the email that I've received, many of you have. That's fine. Perhaps many more of you have an open mind and you're here tonight to learn more. No matter what the case is, again, the applicant is entitled to courtesy, and they're entitled to be able to present their proposal to the neighborhood for our feedback and our evaluation. So when we open it up to the questions and the comments, I would ask everyone to be courteous and respectful. It doesn't mean you can't be critical. You can be strongly critical if you want. You can express your opinion. And your opinion can be as negative as you want it to be. Just please do it within the framework of decorum and civility. I think we all expect that from our community, and I know everyone will honor my request tonight. So with that, I will give it over to Marcy from OTMRA for a few opening remarks, and then the applicant team. They have their owner, their lawyer, and their landlord are here, among others, and they will have a full presentation about what it is that they're seeking the community support to do. So with that, Marcy, please.
Great. Thank you very much, Alderman, and thank you to the Second Ward office. My name is Marcy Hudis. I'm the relatively new executive director of Old Town Merchant and Residents Association, and we bring together the various stakeholders, the businesses, the residents, the other stakeholders to ensure a vibrant, prosperous, and safe neighborhood for everybody. So our role here is to help make sure that everybody knows what the proposal is. We really appreciate the Alderman's office bringing up that there's this application. Most of us were not aware. And we want to hear what the proposal is. We want to make sure community members have a chance to ask questions, and we're eager to help facilitate this. So thank you all very much. And I just want to add that, I mean, we know that everybody is here tonight because they care deeply about the Old Town community. So I think that helps guide the conversation. Thank you.
Great. And if Tom or Angela want to begin, they can.
I'll start. Hello, my name is Tom Lucas. I'm the attorney for the applicants at 1446 North Wells Street. My client has applied for a tavern license at this location and will be operating a high-end cocktail lounge called Cachet that will be a unique and positive addition to the neighborhood. The clientele will consist of professionals who want to enjoy a custom cocktail in a luxurious and vibrant backdrop. As you will shortly observe from the slideshow presentation, my client has spared no expense in making the lounge a truly unforgettable visual experience and something completely unique to the area. Cachet will be an alternative option to the standard bar scene for those wanting a low-key and sophisticated atmosphere. My clients have not only made an investment at 1446 North Wells Street, but also in the community. They have every intention of being a long-term partner in the neighborhood. After considering many different locations, my client chose to establish her business in Old Town because of its community and culture. Lastly, as clarification, the applicant has not applied for a late hours license. I know there was some confusion on that before this process. I'll now turn it over to Angela Colares, who is the owner and operator, to say a few words.
Hello, everyone. My name is Angela Colares, and I'm the owner and operator of the Cachet business. So I'm here with I'm here with my son Emil to present our business to the community. So first, I would like to talk about myself, then I will talk about the business that we would like to bring in the neighborhood. My son Emil and I, we came as immigrants from Moldova, and at that time I was a single mom, and was not really easy for us to start, obviously from the beginning, and to follow our dreams. Moldova is a very small country, and we are famous with one of the largest wineries and one of the largest cellar wineries in the wine in the world. So we are bordering with Romania and Ukraine. Right now, the political economical situation, it's very unstable. All my family is still there, and because of all the situation, we are the only one who are supporting them financially. Talking about myself, I was graduated from University of Moldova, and as a biologist. And after I graduate, I was stay in a university teaching biology and working on my PhD. After I came to United States, I evaluate my diploma here, and I have a master's degree in science and biology. My son and I, we came with an idea to create a place where people can come and enjoy their time, where they can relax, make new friends, share with the business idea, with their experiences. So after considering many different locations, we choose to establish our business in Old Town. We love this area, and we really love the neighborhood. So after we talk, and also when we meet our landlord, Tom Klugman, he was telling us that, and this place was bar and lounge since 1963. First, first name was a blues bar. Then was a sweet lounge. So this place is very unique and have a lot of history. During on our remodeling here, a lot of people was trying to see this place and asking us about our project. Also, they were sharing with us their great memory and the time on this place when they have like in the past. So we really would love to keep this place in the same shape. We don't want to be in like issue. We are not here to compete with someone. We are here to contribute to the community, to make a new friends, to learn, share our experiences. We respect people privacy and their businesses. As our lawyer Tom Lucas said, mentioned already that Cache, it will be operating a high-end cocktail lounge with a dress code, and we want to make this place great where our customers would enjoy their time and they will have like unforgivable memories about this place. So I just I would like to say thank you to everyone to everyone being here today, and thank you to the time to listen to me. And I just want to say thank you for being here and giving us this opportunity to present our business. And I wish you all blessed evening.
I think you also have the slideshow that you can share.
Yes,
Angela.
yes, I will. Share. Okay. But how? Emil, can you help me, please? I'm not so familiar with. Here's the slideshow, but here,
Where's your screen?
share. Share. We have to add people.
Emil, in the bottom ribbon, do you see share screen, the green icon with the up arrow?
Hold on,
Where's this?
here,
It should be in the bottom of the screen.
Okay,
Yes.
share screen, I see it.
okay.
Hold, you guys see it? No. Just a green arrow, right? It says share screen.
Yeah, that should be it.
And it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
It says, yeah, disabled.
Host
Okay,
disabled.
let me make you. All right.
It's
you
under
should be able-
security,
you-
David.
You should be able to now.
Okay, let me try right now. Okay,
And system preference,
and Zoom. Okay,
Zoom.
Angela, Emil, free tuition to one of my classes in staging audio visuals.
We can,
Free tuition. I welcome you to a class at Columbia College.
Tom can do it. Does Tom have it?
What does it do when you hit the green screen?
It's just asking for some password or something. I don't know. She never done it before, and I'm not
I haven't
sure.
done this before.
Is there a
Yeah.
password that they have to enter, David?
No, once you click share screen, you should be able to pick this, like the
Oh, I
Okay,
got
we
it,
got
we
it.
tab
got
that
it.
you want to click
we got
and then share it. Yeah, you just have to click the screen option. There you go.
There we go.
Oh,
So what do you do now?
share. No,
and then maybe view slideshow.
Yeah, but like, how do,
Um,
what slideshow?
Yeah,
You should just-
slideshow.
What is photos? Okay.
Well,
What's stretched?
it's stretched
You want
kind
it
of.
like that.
Shows loading.
It's loading, I guess. We are here at the club, so we can just turn camera around. No, that's all. Doesn't want to share more.
Okay.
Tom, are you able to share your screen? Did you want to just maybe present and then as they, you could go through the slideshow and they speak to each of the
Let me
points?
see-
Would that be a
Let
little
me see
easier
if
maybe?
I can, let me see if I can.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me add just for a minute, since we don't seem to have visuals here. I have walked through the place. I'm probably the only person at this meeting beside the owners who have walked through it. It is utterly beautiful. The walls have a wonderful special metallic treatment. The floor is a beautiful epoxy. The fixtures are absolutely lovely. The place is decorated not as what you would think a bar would be, but it is like a living room. There are comfortable couches. And of course, for remaining from the other people who have rented here for many years, there is a stage at one end so that presentations can occur from that stage. The back of the stage is a library, very similar to what you see behind me, except it looks as though they're all antique books. The place is utterly beautiful.
I'm trying to open it as well, but now I'm having. Share screen here.
David, do you have a copy by any chance?
I do not, no, but if it's forwarded to me via email, I could try to share it
Yeah,
on everyone's
maybe
behalf.
email it
Yeah,
to
We
David.
I'll forward it to you right now.
okay.
It's great. Sounds good.
I just sent it to you.
Already, I have my email pulled up. I'll refresh and download it as soon as possible.
For some reason, I couldn't share it either. I'm not sure what the issue was.
David, do you want me to read a couple of the questions in the chat while you're pulling that up, or is it better to wait till you get that up?
I think I got this. 1 second. Let me just,
No worries.
all right, I'm going to. Does everyone see my screen?
Yes.
I see it.
Okay. All right, so we're just gonna walk through the floor plan, basically. The pictures are taken. I mean, the pictures are a little, elongated, but if you want to just speak to each of these, and then I can proceed.
Email or Angela, do you want to comment on the photo since you're there now?
Yep. Emil, do you want to comment?
Yeah, I mean, those are the tables across by the bar. So there's two tables there. And I just don't like that the photos are really elongated, so you can't really like tell exactly what's going on in there. Maybe you can make this one bigger. Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know how this happened.
Yeah, this is just the way that they were sent. Sorry, guys. So we have to make do.
Yeah, we just see the whole screen. It would be probably easier just, yeah, this is like a little, that stage that Don was talking about, kind of, it's got 2 couches and fireplace, and it's a little nice private area for drinks and stuff. This is the bar, it glows. It makes a
Beautiful.
nice atmosphere. It's round and then circle. Yeah, this is towards the bathrooms. There's a nice chandelier there with another table. Yeah, and that's the exit door, but there's the bathrooms, female bathrooms on the left, the males on the right. I mean, I could send way more photos. This is the look from to the bar from the bathrooms, and but I can't really tell really good.
Okay. Well, maybe we could just speak to some of the operational details then, hours, proposed garbage pickup, delivery, logistics, any of the meat and potato issues that people would want to hear addressed. So do you want to speak to that a little bit, Tom or Angela?
I'll speak there. They plan on having a security guard, one inside, one outside during business hours. There'll be someone patrolling for garbage constantly. That won't be an issue. Hours will be standard tavern hours, 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. on Sunday morning or Saturday night. And then, Angela, do you want to add? There'll be a strict dress code. Emil and Angela, do you want to talk about what the dress code will be?
Emil,
Yeah. It's gonna be. I'd like this place to be like a high-end place, really nice where people can come and network, and there are some places in the city that I like and inspired me to, and I feel like having a strict dress code would eliminate a lot of trouble, because people will be more, will take it more serious. And yeah, and as I said, there will be security. The place is not that big, but I do want everybody to be safe, so I'll have 2 security guards, one outside, one inside. And there's cameras all over the place. I've installed outside, inside. So
And
yeah,
this is
that's about it.
this is in a basement as well, so we don't expect any overflow, people on the streets or anything like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
There'll be none
And
of
I don't
that.
really have any like there's nothing outside that you can barely tell that it's even a place there. It's kind of made like that, which I think is kind of unique. A lot of places are doing that now. Yeah.
also the camera will be connected to the central police station in case of the,
Yeah, we've agreed to do that where if the police need access, we'll connect.
Yeah.
That's not an issue.
Okay, so to the OEMC private security camera program.
Yeah, my client will talk to his technology person and get that all straightened out. And then there were notices also, I'm not sure, when we first started the application, when it was in the other ward, there was a notice sent out as well during the initial application process after it was submitted. Because the application was originally submitted in December of 21, and we did go through a notice period during the initial part of the application as well. But like I said, both Emil and Angela, they're family-oriented people. They want to contribute to the neighborhood, and they want to be there for a long time. As you can see, they've invested quite a bit in the lounge and made it something spectacular. If anybody wants to come see it, Emil or Angela is always there, and they'll gladly show you around. It's spectacular.
Sounds good. Alrighty, well, if the team is amenable to the idea of opening it up to Q&A, maybe that we could start a dialogue that way. Are you guys okay with that, or?
Sure.
All right, I will start by unmuting Tim. His hand's been up for some time, so if he has a question or comment, he can speak. He just has to unmute, it looks like.
I really have, based on the way that this meeting is spun out, there really is very little to say. Well, let me begin this way. I have been here longer than most of you have been alive. And during that time, I lived on West Burton Place and then moved here in 1963. At the time I moved here, it was Dick Bauman's hideout in the basement. Later on, we had the Belushis with the Blues Brothers Bar. Most recently, for the past 15 years, closed by the COVID problem, we had the Sweet Lounge. When I rent to people in this building, I'm renting to people who are going to be my neighbors. And since I operate a film and video business, and since I record here, I need quiet. I think pretty much enough said. I basically have always looked for tenants, both residential tenants and business tenants, who are good people, who are family people. The people who rent the store from me in the front of the building on Wells Street are a family. These people are a family. When Sean, the prior owner, the prior bar owner, was only closed because of the COVID situation, when he and his family had to leave, when they couldn't operate their business anymore, I began receiving proposals from a lot of the kind of people that you would think would be bar owners. I got proposals from a lot of tough guys and a lot of people that I wouldn't want to live with. And then when I got a proposal from these people, I gave them a lease.
Thanks for the context, Don. I think we want to open it up to Q&A so that people can ask the potential operators what the day-to-day is going to look like. So if Tim doesn't have anything to say, Allison has had her hand up for some time, so we'll allow Allison to ask a question.
My question was just entailing what exactly the dress code would be. And I know you mentioned the hours. I just didn't really hear them quite clearly.
We're thinking about opening like 8, 9 p.m. until close. And the dress code would just be like casual and nice, you know, like no gym shoes, no hats, no, you know, like you would see like a nice place that you would go to, you know. That's all.
And do you feel why do you feel the need? I know that tavern licenses are till 2 or 3 in the morning. Do you really feel it's necessary to stay open that late for what you're sort of saying is a nice networking where you're attracting a nice kind of quieter clientele?
Yes, but people still, a businessman and people still stay later, you know. I would just like to be open as, I wouldn't just like to, if people are enjoying their time, I don't want to cut that off and just, you know, as I said, we'll see how it will go, but I don't think it would be a problem. I don't think there's going to be any trouble here or any noise or anything like that.
And you say 8 or 9 o'clock that you're going to be opening?
Yeah, we're gonna start, let's say, like probably 8, 9. Yes.
Okay, is it 8 or 9?
Let's say 8. We just haven't really like completely decided like on this, on the
It'll probably
operations.
be 8 to 2 a.m. and then 3 a.m. on Saturday
Yeah.
mornings.
All right, thanks for your question, Allison. We'll go on to Nancy Schlack.
Thank you. I would like to address the fact that we have been told that notice was given about this application. And I disagree with that. I live at 1414, so I am very close. And I, along with my neighbors, received a postcard dated June 29th, 2023. And the postcard was an applicant, N&K Entertainment LLC. The business name was Hush. The address 1446. The application payment date 11/29/2021. And the objection period deadline is January 3rd, 2022. There has been no notice this year with an objection period. So for any place called Cache, and I would like to know, what is your association to N&K Entertainment and to the business name Hush? And why did we get an outdated postcard? That's
I can
my
answer.
That's my question as a starter.
I can answer that. N&K Entertainment is their entity, the corporation entity that's holding the license. Cache is the DBA. The notices are not sent by the applicant. The notices are sent by BACP. We can't control if they made typos on the notice. The city sends those out. There were notices by law that are required that BACP is required to be sent once the application is initially paid for. So there was a notice that was sent in December or late November of 2021. And then as construction took a while for to finish the inside of the lounge, another notice had to be sent, which was the one you received, but you should have received one in the beginning of the process as well. When the application was first filed, BACP should have sent those out. I was told they were sent out. I don't know.
No, they were not.
That'd be something the city
This
would
is
have to
the
answer.
only notice, this outdated postcard is the only notice that the neighbors within the area that's required to be notified. That's the only notice we got.
We've had no due process.
And we have had no due process. I can't, just as a personal comment, I can't understand why people would go ahead and make such a lavish interior before they notified the community, got community input from someone other than the landlord, and heard what the community had to say about yet another tavern open until 3 a.m. on the weekends. And I have other questions about garbage and control of the line that'll be outside and noise from the people waiting. I have a lot of questions,
To
but
be fair, Nancy, we will allow others to ask questions as well. I know that you might have
That's
a
fine.
litany of things you want to ask, but we also want to be fair of
Let's-
others raising their hand and waiting. So
I
Yeah,
haven't
and,
heard the answers yet.
We
Also,
will-
we
yeah.
had talked to the previous alderman's office. He had done a review and submitted his concerns, and we had entered into a plan of operation. So it was our understanding that the community had been involved, and notices were sent out. That is not our responsibility. That's the city's. And the previous alderman's office hadn't shown nothing of great concern as far as what they were requesting. It was that was with the 27th ward, but like I said, as
I know.
the build out took a while, then the remapping occurred.
Well,
Yeah,
just
I-
like you are presenting to us tonight, did you present to us before? No.
We
So,
weren't asked to.
Okay, well, yeah, not good.
Nancy, we will come back to you because
Thank
you
you.
did indicate you had more questions. So we'll
Thank
give you
you.
a second round. But I do want to speak to the whether or not the second notice was mailed. We know the first one was you did get the first one, but that notice expired. It was too far, in the past to be relevant to today. It had the previous name on it, as you pointed out. I did hear from other people who feel that they were within the parameter, the radius to have received the second notice, who said, just like you, that they did not get that second notice. So I went back to the staff in the city department that's in charge of doing this, and I asked them specifically to confirm that they did what they were supposed to do, which was mail out that notice. They did confirm that the notice was mailed. They would get in a lot of trouble for asserting to the contrary if they didn't do it. So, we all know the post office isn't perfect. I can't attest to what happened to the notices, whether all or some got lost in the mail. I don't know about that, but I do know that the city staff who are responsible for preparing and mailing the second notice were able to confirm that they did in fact do that. So we have to take them at their word. Regardless of whether people got it or not. And I believe you that you didn't get it, by the way. I'm not challenging you on that. I'm sure you know what it looks like because you got the first one. So you would have recognized it if you got a second one. But whether or not there was a problem with the mail or people, not getting it doesn't change where we're at today. And it doesn't change the fact that this community hearing is part of the due diligence and it's part of the process. Both my office and Old Town Merchants and Residents sent out extensive communications about this meeting. So I'm confident that even if the notice got lost and not enough people saw it, enough people in the neighborhood are now aware of this. There's also been some media coverage on it. So we can go forward with the assumption that the neighborhood's aware of what's happening now. And our job now is to evaluate this proposal and make a decision regarding whether or not this is something that we want to accept.
I do want to thank you for getting out the word. I do appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. And we'll come back to you after the next questioner.
Thank you.
All right, David Bardak, if you'd like to speak, you can.
They'll do.
Go. Hi. Thanks for the presentation. By the way, I have been to Moldova and I've seen that huge underground winery, so it is pretty amazing. My question for you all is what I call concept creep. And this, unfortunately, is really not fully related to you, but you have to take on the burden of it, which is we've had no less than 3 or 4 other alcohol establishments come to the street, promise high-end delivery, and indeed start that way. And then the business doesn't go so well under that framework. And I'll say a subjective word is they denigrate the concept. So instead of being high-end and high concept, it goes down to kind of raucous drinking lots of beer. And it's not just once, it's not just twice, it's happened at least 3 times. So what's your perspective on preventing that from happening?
I don't know how to explain it, but it won't happen, because if it will, then like the whole place will fail. It's designed for something completely different. Like I don't have any beer or like anything like that here, and it just won't work. Like we'll have to, let's say if we start operating it and if that would happen, then we would pretty much have to close.
It's not designed for
yeah, it's just
not designed
no way
for that.
Yeah. We're pretty confident that it's gonna succeed, and like as I said, like I've seen a lot of nice places, and I've got inspired by a lot of them, and we're just showing like a really good service will bring more people of that kind, and I think we'll be more than good,
All right,
I
thank
think
you
if the
for that.
community
Oh,
sees the
sorry.
inside, it will help as well. They'll see sort of what the layout is and how it
Yeah.
looks inside and sort of what the atmosphere will be. And it's not really conducive to beer drinking.
Yeah, neither were the other places. So, I mean, I fully get it, and the place is beautiful. So no doubt what you've done today. So it's not about today, it's about watching kind of a track record on the street where things have come in higher end and where they are today are not higher end.
You have the pledge from the owner. That's not something that's not something they're interested in. They've built this with sort of a specific purpose, and as Emil said, the concept would probably fail if he had. The concept would be failing if he had to resort to that, and that's not something he wants to do anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Well, and we are thinking that there's like, it's not like college kids they are welcome, but we are thinking that there's going to be different crowd of people, like more like business people, people who are just want to feel like in home, like not just, I don't know even how to explain, but like Emil said, if this is not going to work, then
This they hope is, they've designed this as an option, something other than that. And that's been the whole concept.
All righty, thank you, David. If Beth would still like to ask a question, go ahead.
Thank you for taking the time. I live at 1440 North Wells. I've been here for over 15 years. There have been some great things happening on the street. And unfortunately, as David mentioned, there's also been a degradation on the street. We have garbage issues. We have rat issues. We have delivery issues during the daytime. And we also have loitering issues that have resulted in vandalism as well as vomiting and other refuse in front of our community. And so you've talked a lot about what you're going to do. What I'd really appreciate you touching on is your prior bar and tavern ownership experience and how you've mitigated these issues in your past.
Emil, do you want to answer that, as if you've had some experience in the industry?
I have many friends that own restaurants and actually a club too. This is our first place, so we don't really have like prior experience, but I do have a really great network and idea of and help of knowing what we're doing. We had a trucking company before that for almost 10 years, but I mean the business is really bad, so we shifted, but we kind of started this at the same time. So if you would ask me if we didn't own anything before like that.
So may I ask then, it's great that you have contacts in the industry. Can you talk to your plan then to mitigate these things proactively so that we're not victims of these things who then need to come to you and ask how you're handling them reactively?
Well, they'll have someone patrolling the area outside for garbage. That's something that was in the plan of operation that was discussed with the previous alderman. There'll also be a security guard inside and out. And like I said, this is a basement. It's not a ground level, so there shouldn't be the overflow of people just standing trying to get in, like as a ground level location sometimes has. And this is a small place. There's not going to be 200 people in there. The capacity is 99. So we hope that to mitigate any issues like that. But they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that they're a good neighbor. Any garbage we picked up immediately, they understand that issue. The commissioner, the liquor control commissioner, and the previous alderman had that in their plan of operation that we discussed as well. And then if Emil wants to add anything.
We do have already contract with the garbage.
No.
There's something I can add on the garbage situation. The garbage does not go out to Wells Street. The garbage goes back
Yes,
on the property all the way to Wheeland, and it's stored in a dumpster back there.
yeah, and we have dumpsters.
Thank you. We have significant rat issues all along Wheeland as well, as a result of various establishments improperly treating garbage. I appreciate you have security, and it's a smaller facility. Are they going to ensure that your clientele doesn't loiter in the neighborhood? Or are you open to modifying your hours so that if there is loitering, it's at more acceptable hours than the middle of the night?
Well, the security will specifically be there for any loitering, move people along. That's something that we discussed with the Liquor Control Commissioner. As far as the hours, we don't think that the loitering will be an issue to lower the hours. We're not, like I said, we're not going to be. This isn't a late hour license. It's just a standard tavern license. We're not going to be open past 3 o'clock on Sunday morning, 2 a.m. on the other nights. And we don't anticipate any loitering. Like I said, this is a capacity of only 99 people inside and one security guard in and out. That they may employ more depending if needed or not. And then the garbage, like I said, is in the back, and we hope this, everything will be taken care of.
Thank you. I know people probably have other questions. Can the Alderman's office maybe address what rights we have if the license is approved and the plans don't come to fruition the way they've been discussed? And we do have issues either as a result of refuse on Wheeland or as a result of loitering and other issues on Wells.
Yeah, thank you, Beth, for that question. It's been mentioned a couple of times in this meeting that a plan of operation had been prepared and submitted to the 27th Ward office. I have not seen that yet. So I would ask the applicant and your team, please forward that to my office immediately so I can review it. Typically, such a plan, Beth, contains provisions to deal with any kind of violations. So I'm assuming that it's in there. I've seen many of them. And that's just kind of standard language that's included in it. So give me the opportunity to review that, and I'll get back to you on that.
I'll send
Great.
that over. I assumed
Thank you.
BACP had sent it.
No, they didn't.
I'm sorry. We'll send it over.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We're very concerned about our community, and taxes keep rising, and it sounds like there are going to be some additional transfer taxes. And so we want to ensure that our community is being taken care of so that we don't have degradation of property values or a lack of people invested in our neighborhood.
No, that's completely understandable. And like I said,
Yeah.
they completely want to be a good partner and good neighbor. They've invested pretty much their life savings in this.
Thank you for that question and comment. Beth, we can move on to Paul if he still wants to ask something. Paul, you're able to speak if you'd like.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you, Paul.
Okay, great. Yeah, I just had a couple questions. I wanted to first thank you, Brian, for sending out your office from sending out that information on 1446. And I agree with some of the other comments that when I forwarded that around, and several people I talked to, that was the first they saw of it. And so that was really helpful. Also, too, I had some, I'm not sure if this is the full level of preparation that's needed for community input on something like this, or if a couple things that I would suggest is maybe push back meetings like this till 6 o'clock. Several people said they just couldn't make it to get home in time to attend something like this at 5:30. And then secondly is that maybe picture of the facade so people understand, where the entrance is. Maybe a floor plan, maybe some photographs, or just more information than simply assurances. It's not whether people are nice or not, and certainly that's important, but I think more solid information would be very helpful. It just seems as though there's things aren't as prepared as they could be. So it's very hard, to say whether you like something or not, or you think it's appropriate. And those are my comments. Thank you.
Thanks for that input, Paul. Keith, if you'd like to say something, you can. Keith, are you there? Alrighty, we can move on to Amy.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for arranging this meeting, both the OTMRA and Alderman Hopkins' office. I really appreciate the opportunity to provide input. Like Nancy earlier, I recall getting a notice for hush, but I do not have any record of receiving any other such notice. So Alderman Hopkins, if you want to follow up with the people who promised they sent out those notices, you might want to see that the system hasn't broken down. We live across the street at Wells and Burton Place, so we would definitely be within the radius of impacted individuals. I was just wondering if someone could explain. We've had community meetings before for certain, issues affiliated with the OTMRA and guided by the Alderman's office. And it's I find it a little odd that we didn't have a community meeting for this earlier before things progressed to where they are now. I'm kind of wondering why there wasn't such a community meeting, because, I understand now that there's pressure being put on the landlord and the owner of the business to get this through, but that pressure seems to be a little inflicted by the fact that the neighborhood didn't really have a chance to weigh in before. So does anyone know why we didn't have a community meeting before? And what is the new norm going forward for when someone asks to open up a tavern on Wells Street? I don't know if there's even any more room for taverns on Wells Street, because I think we've got something like 22 places that serve liquor between, I don't know, Schiller and North. So just, is this the new norm, and why wasn't there a community meeting before? I guess are two of my questions. I have so many more, but those are the big ones.
When you say before, do you mean when this address was under the 27th ward?
Yes, or at any time until now, really. This is the first time the community is really hearing about this and having an opportunity to weigh in.
Yeah, well, I can't speak to what happened when this was represented by Alderman Burnett in the 27th ward. It became the second ward effective in April of this year. The map passed the previous year, but the effective date for purposes of administrative matters before city agencies, it just became effective in April of this year. And there's a transitional period when a property address moves from one ward to another. There's, as you can imagine, a lot of bureaucracy involved in paperwork transfers and other things, pending applications and all of that. And as I said at the outset of this meeting, I was not made aware of this pending application until about 2 weeks ago. And when it came to my attention, I took immediate steps to rush through. We're not really rushing through because we do have time to do what we would normally do. But the minute it came to my attention, I didn't delay in starting the appropriate conversations with community stakeholders. And as I said, this is the fastest turnaround time I've ever had as an alderman. from the decision to have a community meeting to actually having it, just because we're trying to play a little catch up here. And I don't know why this application seemed to sort of fall through the cracks in the transition. Many things that were transitioned from the 27th ward to the 2nd ward came to my attention immediately, and I took the appropriate steps to ensure a seamless handover and all the things that we need to do to keep keep business flowing uninterrupted. But for some reason, and I don't know why, this didn't happen in this application. But again, it's not going to affect the process. It's not going to affect the due diligence that we as a community and me as an alderman are obligated to perform in evaluating this proposal. And I don't think it's going to affect the decision either. We're moving expeditiously and quickly, but we are moving. So I'm not happy about the fact that we had to scramble a little bit of, at the outset. But here we are, and we have over 100 people in this meeting tonight. I've had significant amounts of correspondence in the previous 2 weeks. So of the leaders of Old Town Merchants and Residents Association, there's online surveys, all kinds of things happening right now to adequately assess the opinion of the neighborhood, to get questions asked and answered. That's a big part of what we're doing tonight. And to make a decision whether or not this is something that we want to support. So just consider it an unfortunate, victim of timing in the transition between 2 wards. But nevertheless, we're all doing the job we're supposed to do anytime an application like this is submitted.
And if I can add, we assumed, as the application has been pending since November of 21 with the previous alderman, and as he and the local liquor control commissioner had sent us a plan of operation, we assumed that the community had been involved with the previous alderman, and these were their concerns, as that's normally how it's done. And we were unaware of, and then we weren't asked for a citizen meeting before.
And I appreciate that. I think my point here, Alderman Hopkins, I was not, that wasn't a criticism of you in any way, shape, or form. We realize that you're new to this neighborhood, and we appreciate so much everything that you've done for the neighborhood in the short time you've already been here. My question was more so, for the entities who have been involved. I understand that the building owner is involved with the SSA. I know that the SSA has the OTMRA as its sole service provider. For the attorney working on the file, I'm wondering why the community wasn't involved earlier, especially considering all of the concerns we have about alcohol use, loitering in the park immediately across from where this bar will be located. The vandalism we're seeing, defecation, urination, and vomiting has already been mentioned. Trash issues have already been mentioned. So my point here is that, and I appreciate your comments, Alderman Hopkins, that no matter what happens, it's not going to impact, the timing here isn't going to impact the decision-making process, which I appreciate. And I just want to make certain that, our views are considered, and that this process is not rushed through simply because so much has been invested up until this point, because the community truly has not had an opportunity to weigh in. I don't want to bogart the meeting, so I will end my comments there. Thank you.
So I think we could briefly, I think we could briefly pivot to some of the questions that have not been answered yet, that have been logged in the Q&A. I can commingle a few of them if the team is willing to speak to it. One of them is, will there be food? What roughly is the price range for the drinks and the cocktails that will be served? And will you have a valet service?
We're thinking of, I'm thinking of having a valet service. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I think it would be a good idea. Because there's a parking lot over here, so we could talk to the owners over there. And I would like to have a valet service. food, I think will be some cold appetizers and stuff like that, but nothing big because we don't really have a kitchen here. But something small, yeah, we'll have something like that. And drink prices, I don't know, a little bit on the high end side. Maybe $15, $20 a cocktail.
Okay, great. Going back a little, there was a point made about the trucking business. There's a question about what happened to that. If you don't mind speaking to that a little bit, being that that is your previous business owning experience.
About the trucking, what happened with that?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, as you guys can see, trucking is really bad. A company in Pennsylvania just closed that was open for 100 years. It's trucking business goes up and down, but especially now, it's for the past 2 years, it's been really, really bad. So we decided to cut our losses shorter, and I think it was a great decision because some of my friends are still in that business and they're borrowing money and dumping it in the business, and it's still not going up. So, yeah.
Great. We have a couple questions about line formation and queuing at the entry or at the exit. Can you speak a little bit to how crowd control mechanisms will be enforced, and what plan, if any, do you have to make it so that the public way remains accessible to pedestrians and those that need access?
Yeah, I'm hiring a professional security team here, so I mean, there's going to be the guy that's going to work the door outside. Has to be. Trust me, I want the best people. The professionals. Would it be a bartender or a security worker? So I think they will manage that pretty well, better than I would. And again, it's kind of like a hidden place. It's not that obvious. So I don't think people are just going to try to walk in. And again, it's targeted for, I don't think we're going to have a problem with that. But yeah, I think security will do a really good job at it.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm not sure if you all touched on this, but what type of music will be played? I know that there's plans for a stage, so what type of music are you all looking to, or live performances are you all looking to help facilitate?
It would be loungy stuff, I guess, and I would also like sometimes to bring like a live violin, and they kind of synchronize with the music. It's not going to be crazy loud. It's not going to be hip hop or anything like that. And also, I would like to test it out too. Like play one night like this and see. But it's going to be nothing crazy, because it's a place for a social. You got to socialize and network. It's not a dance club, So
great, thank you. Thank you for that. Jeremiah, if you'd like to say something, you've had your hand raised for some time. Actually, I think he just lowered his hand. Okay, Yvette.
Hi, good afternoon. Let me just make sure you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Thank you. I appreciate this platform that you're offering for us to at least share our feelings and opinions and questions on this topic. I share the same position as most who have spoken, and I've had, my questions are very similar. I am just very concerned. I live 2 doors down from the establishment, and it is extremely crowded for me to walk down my block to go to a Walgreens or to run an errand, and it's packed with lines forming. I don't believe this is something a security officer can manage. They don't do it today. So that's my, the overcrowdedness, it was expressed, the trash, it's not managed. It's not managed today. So My confidence level is not where it needs to be, especially bringing on another bar onto the block. My concern is that although we've been on this call for over an hour, I do not, and it's just speaking for myself, I do not get a good sense of a solid business plan. You know, from how are you going to market to the clientele that you're looking for, which is business people? What type of establishment other than the look and feel will it be? What do you plan on doing? I'm hearing vague responses, and unfortunately that just creates some red flags for me. And I'm not sure I'll be able to get those questions answered here today. I would highly, I'd appreciate if we can have another call where there could be a little bit more preparation for this call. You know, and given all the aldermen an opportunity to take a look at this, because he was also surprised by it. So then I'll just turn it back to you. I just wanted to express those. A lot of my questions were already answered, so thank you.
Okay, thank you, Yvette, for those comments and concerns. Samantha, if you're still there, you can speak, please.
Hi, thank you. And again, thank you to the Old Town Residents and Merchants Association. Thank you to Alderman Hopkins. Thank you to everyone who helped facilitate this meeting. Again, I am going to echo a lot of sentiments that a lot of others have made on this call, and specifically touching on what Yvette had just mentioned also. You know, you spoke a lot about what's going to be happening in the interior of your business and what's happening on the inside of your four walls and what you anticipate to happen underground within the building. But one of the things that has really stood out to me, and I wrote this down and I quoted this, you said, we don't anticipate any loitering. The problem is, as a resident on Wells Street for over 10 years, there's a lot of things that we didn't anticipate and that the business owners didn't anticipate. But as a lot of community members have said on this call, things have materialized in a completely different way. And so I understand that your security guard might be managing the line directly outside of your business. I don't believe that your security guard is going to be managing the traffic congestion and the Ubers that are honking and beeping and blocking traffic, and the people that are going to be running in the middle of the road, and the people that are going to be blasting their music with their windows down up and down Wells Street at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So I do appreciate that you are trying to control the environment that which you can control, but there's unfortunately a lot of repercussions and ripple effects that continue to spill out on Wells Street, not only directly in front of your establishment, but blocks further down that unfortunately are negatively impacting. So as everyone has mentioned, the noise, the loitering, the trash, the unruly behavior. And I just feel that a lot of the answers that you have provided on this phone call today, quite frankly, are insufficient. You know, you are business owners of a business that it seems that you have shut down, and the restaurant and bar industry is notorious that 80% of these businesses do not make it within 2 years. And another resident mentioned on this call, a lot of businesses started off one way and promised certain things, and they evolved into something very different. So I'm just here to echo a lot of the sentiments that have already been said, just express a few additional concerns, but to really truly highlight that my biggest concern is that you seem to be focused on what's happening within your four walls, and that there's a lot out of control, out of your control, that happens as a consequence of a tavern being established here on Wells Street.
If I can comment, or do you want to go to another question, David?
If you want to comment quickly, we can. I think we'll take one or two more questions and then round it out with statements from the alderman.
As far as the loitering issue, if my client sees that loitering is an issue, that he will then hire somebody to move people along. Like I said, this is not a very big place. And And unfortunately, we can only control that within our area. We don't have much as far as street control, or, there's other bars, we don't have a late hour license. So, there's a lot going on in the area that's sort of out of our control, but we're going to do everything that we can to facilitate and move people along so there's no loitering in front of our area. That we can surely do, and that they will do.
Great, thank you for that, Tom. All right, I think we'll take another question from Ashley, and then we can round things up just to be cognizant of everyone's time on the call. So.
Hey there, this is actually Sean Sullivan. I didn't receive a Zoom link, so Ashley shared hers with me, but I guess the first thing I'd like to say is I'd like to thank the alderman and the OTMRA, because this is the most involvement we've had from both of them in a very long time. So I think I speak for a lot of people on this call that we really appreciate it. Secondly, I think the fact that with such short notice, we have over 100 people on this call really indicates, a couple of things. One, the involvement of the neighborhood, and two, truly the crisis level that this neighborhood has hit. And I don't use that, term lightly. It is vastly different from where most of us have, what most of us have moved into. I've lived in the neighborhood for, 12 years at this point. And while there were bars and restaurants, on the street, it is nowhere near the volume where it is. I mean, Amy had said at one point, we had done research on this, and within a quarter of a mile from Wells Street to the north and to the south, I think there are 26 places to buy alcohol and restaurants or bars, and there are 7 actual establishments to purchase, like liquor stores, grocery stores, Walgreens, et cetera, where you can actually purchase liquor. So all that aside, I guess our concern, aside from everything that everyone else has said, is that I don't see how our neighborhood, I don't see how this street can support another club on Wells Street when we've had nothing but problems, as everyone has said, with the current situation, in terms of violence, assaults on the street. Specifically last night, I followed 2 guys chasing someone down the street. This was last night on a Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. Guns going off in the bars on the street, which has happened not that long ago. We've covered the noise, the drinking in public, the garbage, the urination, the defecation, the vomiting. We walk down our streets every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it's just a trash heap. There's trash in the streets. There's trash on the sidewalk. There's trash stuck in the planters. And I understand the idea of this is to have, a networking club, but the reality is networking clubs aren't open until 2 or 3 o'clock, in the morning on a Friday and Saturday. And the reality is our neighborhood does not, I'm not looking to be interrupted. Our neighborhood does not draw that type of clientele. Our neighborhood draws 22 to 26-year-olds who drink open container in front of the police officers, who, are buying drugs, who are doing drugs in front of the police officers, and nothing is happening. So my question is, and my concern is, we've turned this neighborhood into an unlivable environment. And Old Town is not the Old Town it used to be. And it's not only is it impacting our lives, but it's impacting our property value. And if we want to just talk numbers, well, let's talk about what happens when our property value goes down. You get less taxes, we have less support, we have less of everything that we should be having. And, part of the problem is this neighborhood has turned into and is known as, it's just basically an area for parties. And there's no support and there's no deterrence. There is a police presence and they don't do anything. We have security, which we pay for, and they don't do anything. And adding more fuel to the fire, I think, is exactly what this neighborhood does not need. And I will also say, considering how involved this community has been, especially in light of the Garfields coming into town or coming into the neighborhood, it seems to me that the fact that all of the neighbors didn't get these notices is less of an oversight and is less of a mistake than something else. And I feel like there were reasons that we did not receive those. I feel like there are reasons why there were not community meetings. And I think those reasons is they wanted this to be under the rug, fly under the radar, which it did, because our new alderman didn't even know about it. And now we're in a situation where this place is already built out and they're already 90% of the way through, approval, and nobody in the neighborhood was asked about it. And it's incredibly frustrating. And I think, the mood and the mood from the neighbors is, we're in a real bad shape, and we are not in a position where we are interested in not, I can see this going very bad for a lot of the businesses on this street. That's all.
Can I speak as a member and as a part of OTMRA, as well as a property owner? We are addressing these problems. Attend our meetings, attend our OTMRA committee meetings, attend the meetings of the SSA, and you will hear all of the things that we are trying to do. At the same time, you talk about a problem in one more place opening. There are places that have closed. I'm so sorry we've lost Mama Milano's, a delightful business. I'm so sorry we lost my prior tenant, the Sweet Lounge, a delightful family business here for 15 years. I'm so sorry we lost O'Brien's.
Thank you, Don. We can, I think,
David, I
OTMRA has
have
something. Yeah.
I have both a question and a clarification. Sorry there.
Yeah, of course.
One clarification is just the relationship that we thank Don for his service as an SSA commissioner. OTMRA is a sole service provider for the special service area. They are two separate organizations. So I do want to clarify that, because I think that's good for everybody to know. And I think that's best for everybody here. One thing that I do want to add, question I keep getting asked is this a 4 a.m. license that has been applied for? And I don't know how to answer that question. So I mean, Tom, Angela, Emil, is this a 4 a.m. license?
It's not, that hasn't been applied for. And I said it in my opening statement as well. This is not a 4 a.m. license. We didn't apply for a late hour license. This is just a tavern license. And we're surprised that the community hasn't heard of the application, as this is the second notice period that we're in. So it's strange. We're shocked as well. And like I said, the applicant or myself, we don't control the notices that go out. That's from BACP at the city, nor do we mail them out or have any control over them whatsoever. So we have been assuming, and residents have come into the location to take a look as well, and Angela and Emil have let them in. If anybody wants to come by and take a look, we have no problem with that. But we had, based on our communication with the city departments and the previous alderman's office and the plan of operation that was given to us, we had assumed the community had their input. And we're glad to have a citizen meeting now, and we would have had one prior to as well. We just weren't asked. So I think there may be a miscommunication from the city, and then, something must have, I'm surprised that most people haven't heard about the application, as it hasn't been pending for a while.
Yeah, Tom, Angela, and Emil, I'm going to ask if you would be willing to stay a little bit longer than we had originally scheduled for, simply because I'm looking at the participant list and almost everyone has stayed. They're all pretty much still here on this Zoom call, which indicates, you know, the interest remains. And there are still some unanswered questions. And we've got, I think, 4 or 5 people that have had their hands up since we started the Q&A process. So I'd like to give them all a chance to ask their questions that they've been waiting for. And then I did indicate to Nancy we could circle back to her towards the end. So if you guys don't mind sticking around a little bit longer, and I just would ask the remaining questioners who do have your hands up, if you could just try to keep it as brief as you can. Just to give everybody a chance to ask their question. I don't want to cut anyone off, but just try to be succinct and either state your opinion or ask your question as quickly as possible. So if you guys are willing to stay for a little bit longer into extra innings here, David, please go to the next person in the sequence.
We'll do Alderman.
That's fine, I'm available.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Angela. Michelle, you're able to speak at the moment.
Thanks. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Really quickly, I want to echo what a number of others have said, and that is, I think the enormity of the turnout that we're having here tonight is an indicator not only of the lack of integrity of the previous alderperson, but it's shocking that the business owners tonight are so poorly prepared, and yet continuing to use words like partnership. There's no actual partnership here. The community has loudly, vocally, over and over and over again, largely to a previous alderman who was deaf to it, said, we can't sustain this anymore. And to be giving up our time now for owners who can't tell us what they're serving, what their prices are. They don't know anything about their business plan yet. And it's shocking. And thank you, Alderman Hopkins, for listening to us, for giving us voice, and for trying to make things above board and to allow for some actual community input, because this community is breaking and it's got to stop. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, Doug, if you'd like to say something, please do.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. I live at 1414 Wells. I live on the same floor as Nancy, just a few doors away. And my wife and I moved here very recently from Park West. And probably I'm going to strike a different tone than everybody else in this meeting. I will say that my wife and I moved here in part to enjoy the restaurants and all the other stuff that's going on in our neighborhood. We love this neighborhood. And with that, I would observe, listening to everybody, that it seems, given the complaints I've heard, that even if there was no cash, even if we weren't discussing cachet, apparently many of the people on this call believe we've got serious problems that we need to be dealing with. So with that in mind, questions, I think, for you, Alderman. First, is there anything unusual about what cachet's asking for in their application? Second, what are we doing about some of these problems that have been mentioned? Beth mentioned that we've got a rat problem. That seems serious. Samantha mentioned many problems that all seem serious. What are we doing about those things? Again, ignoring cachet, what are we doing about the problems we've already got? I have been impressed, honestly, with the cleanliness of our street, despite what Amy and others have mentioned. This street's much cleaner than the street in Park West that I moved from. When I lived on Pine Grove, there was a lot of trash all over the place. Something's going on that's causing our street to be clean here, even after the Saturday night mess. What are we doing that's making that happen? And going back to those existing problems, is there something that we can do at the ward level or the neighborhood level, something to proactively solve some of these problems without putting the burden on the individual tavern and restaurant owners? It seems like we can't just burden them. For example, loitering is a problem where people who are loitering, it's difficult to attribute them to any one business. They could just be out there for whatever reason. So I don't think that's an effective approach to solving the loitering problem, to burden the businesses with that. That's all I've got. Thanks.
Yes, to answer your question about this individual application and this particular proposal, is there anything unique about it? You know, on its face, it's a simple application for a tavern license. You know, I've seen hundreds of them in my capacity as alderman, and this one is substantially no different than most. So your point is valid. But having said that, you know, the operation of a liquor establishment goes beyond just, you know, the proposal and the paperwork that they fill out. You know, the character of a business is much less tangible and harder to identify during a process like this. Someone previously mentioned, you know, the fact that they've experienced broken promises from bars who say they're going to be one thing and then they open up and they're another thing. You know, that happens all the time, because as a liquor establishment operator, you can't always control who chooses to come to your bar. You know, that's it's, you know, it's part marketing and it's just part word of mouth. And in today's environment where social media dominates everything, I've personally seen bars change their entire personality and their entire character in a compressed period of time, simply because of, you know, the way social media spreads, and somebody decides they're going to start hanging out there and they bring their friends, and the next thing you know, it's a whole different experience. That happens. It's happened on Wall Street too. I'm not going to name names, but I think we all can think of a couple of examples of that. So we get one bite at this apple as a community to decide whether or not this is something that we feel confident in, that something that's going to contribute positively to the neighborhood and not be, you know, a detriment or a nuisance. Because once a liquor license is issued, it's extraordinarily hard to revoke. That's just the nature of both the state and the city liquor codes that we operate under. When a liquor license is issued, it becomes a vested property interest for that operator, and you don't get to take it away just because you changed your mind or you don't like the way the bar owner runs his bar. So it's very important that we look at this not just in terms of what's being proposed in the application, but what the overall character, you know, of this operation seems to be at the outset. Does it fit in with this community? Can the community handle it? Can the police handle it in terms of their resources? And that's what we're trying to get at here. That's why we're having this discussion. You know, it's half art and half science. Some of it is just intuitive, and you kind of get a feel for it, meeting the applicants, you know, as we've had a chance to do here tonight. And then I will, as I indicated previously, I'm going to carefully review the previously drafted plan of operation, because that does impose a lot of operating restrictions, and that is voluntarily consented to by the operator. And these things have teeth, by the way. It's not just a promise. In this case, it's an enforceable document that the city and the police department can bring a lot of pressure to bear, as well as fines and all sorts of punitive measures if it's violated. So it's a very important document. And as I mentioned, I haven't had a chance to see it. Wasn't even made aware of its existence until today. And that's going to be the first order of business for me tomorrow, is to review that and to see if it passes muster. So we still have some work to do here, and still have some things to get to before we can make a decision. But I do appreciate your comments.
Ladies and gentlemen, I invited a person to this meeting. You see his icon here, Bill O'Donoghue, who has a certain amount of knowledge about all of this that I do not have. Bill, is there anything that you'd like to say? Is there any perspective or comment that you would like to make?
I'll keep it short, Don. Thanks. I'm Bill O'Donoghue. I'm an attorney. I practice in the alcohol beverage sphere. I've been doing that for about 30 years. And, you know, the alderman has done a great job tonight. And these sort of community meetings should have occurred a while ago. I don't know why it didn't. It sounds like it just fell through the cracks. I think a vigorous and strong plan of operation can be used to alleviate the concerns and issues presented by everyone tonight. And I think, you know, I think the neighbors need to give themselves an opportunity to get to know the applicants. in order to have a better understanding of what kind of operation they're going to run. So I look forward to, speaking with the alderman and the alderman staff and with the applicant's attorney to review the plan of operation. I have not seen it yet myself either. And I think over the years, plan of operations have been very effective at imposing, good neighbor policies on businesses, and has often been used to penalize businesses that do not follow the plan of operation. And I think, you're going to have a family here that will abide by the plan of operation, and that obviously the Old Town Merchants Association can be intimately involved in the language contained in that, and I'm sure the alderman will make sure you are. So I am impressed with the number of people that showed up at this meeting on quick notice, and I'm sure the applicants will take that to heart. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Bill. We have Jacqueline who would like to say something.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jackie. I am Representative Croak's Chief of Staff. So I'm here on behalf of her. She represents the Illinois Legislative 12th District, so that also encompasses Wells Street. We also are a little concerned about the tavern license that was issued to this business, but I know you guys kind of touched up on the liquor license hours, so that was a little comforting. I think we would like to be looped into these conversations. Alderman, I can follow up with your office after this, because it does affect the quality of life for our constituents that live on that street. So we definitely want to be looped in. And I would really feel more comfortable speaking on behalf of the representative if we had more concrete details. It seems to be kind of the echo from everyone on this call from the business, even just like the hours that it's going to be open, what security team is going to be working at this restaurant establishment, and et cetera, as far as the plan. So it's just a public comment I have, and I look forward to following up with your office, Alderman Hopkins.
Yeah, thank you, Jackie. Thanks for being here tonight, and our best wishes and congratulations to the representative.
I will let her know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Dee, if you'd like to say something, please go ahead.
Can I hear you say that again, David?
Hi, this is Dee Thompson. I live on the 1500 block of North Park, and I will echo the comments earlier that we thank the alderman for the entire staff's involvement in the quick changes that we've seen, and also echo everyone else's comments based on a lot of the concerns. I think for us, my family, we are starting to feel a little that Wells Street is turning into the old Russian division of old. And, that was fun for a lot of people in their 20s. We're now in our 50s. We have a family. I will speak for our street, that our street has formed its own association. In part, one of the things that we do every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday is go out and pick up trash in the neighborhood, which is great community service that we're doing, but something completely unnecessary that we should not be doing because of all of the establishments that are moving onto the street. I would say I have frequented Sweet Lounge before, and I thought it was a great place. And I would also say that I think we would probably not have any objection to this establishment if it were 5 years ago, if it were 10 years ago. But what we've seen in the last short couple of years is just a complete transformation of this street and this neighborhood that we just personally don't like. We love the area that we live in. We love the neighbors. We love the street. We love the old potential with the boutiques and the specialty shops and the restaurants. What was the restaurant the French restaurant, Bistro Margot, other great restaurants that have closed over time. All of that has seemed to disappear and have been replaced by bars. So I just wanted to make that general comment that I feel for the owners who, in my opinion, on any given time, any other time, if they were applying for this, probably would not have had so many objections had we not seen the flurry of activity that has happened in the last couple of years. So that's all I had to say.
Yeah, thank you, Dee.
Thank you. Kenneth, if you're still there, please go ahead and say something.
Yeah, I was concerned because I live in the area and I also have buildings and property in the area. And it is amazing to me that they've done the amount of work that they've done in this space. And normally you would see permits and things outside the building to give you an indication that their work was being done, which I never saw any, and I'm on the street every day. And have been on the street for 50 plus years. So I'm a little concerned of how this all happened and how this all went about without anybody in the neighborhood knowing about it.
If I can
Permits
speak to
were
that.
posted.
Sorry.
Permits were posted
Where were they
Everything's
posted?
been permitted.
on the building. Permits posted.
All right.
So many permits that I felt it was a little bit disturbing to residents. Permits
Well,
were posted.
I never saw any permits and I walk the streets every day.
What can I say?
I don't know. What can you say? So,
I can say that you failed to observe the permits. They were there.
Don, what kind of work did you do? Plumbing, electric? What was the permitted work? I know you did some redecorating. Redecorating doesn't require permits.
it was,
But what was the permitted work that you did?
It was everything. It was electrical, plumbing, just everything pretty much. And the permits
you're speaking to me. I currently have an architect who's putting together plans for a major renovation. We're going to be working on the parapet of the building. We're going to be doing tuck pointing.
that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. We're talking
about the
basement.
business, Doug. Yeah. Everything was permitted, all the plans, everything was
permitted.
I am not involved in the work that they have done in the business.
Well, that's fine. That's what
I'm
we're
simply-
talking about.
I'm
We're
simply-
not talking about what you're going to do. We're talking about this. And as somebody who lives here in the neighborhood, has also been here for, as I said, over 50 years, I can go through and I notice when there's permits and there's things and going through and you sit down and say, what's going on in this particular instance? And I would sit down and say, hey, if you say, I would like to just show me a picture of any permit that was ever placed on the face of the building.
You can check that online. It's on the city
that
website.
is available. Were they on the face of the building? Is what I'm saying.
They were, and all inspections
on the
have
door.
passed.
They were
Everything's
removed
been done.
after all the work was done.
Well, okay, all right. But as I
passing
said, as
inspections.
somebody who walks the streets and has been here, I'm just asking a question.
Sir, we already passed all the inspections, therefore we removed the permits. But while the building while there was still construction going on, they were on the door. There were 4 permits, and there was a glass door. You could see it from the other side. Like it was,
and they're all available online.
Very easy. Yeah.
So were they around the corner? Because I know the building very well. But were they around the corner at the door
front of the
entrance,
door.
or were they
They're
on the glass
on the main door.
We have the inspection. They were.
I mean, it's okay. Leave it.
No, that's fine. I'm just questioning.
Okay.
I was just saying because the neighborhood doesn't seem to know how this has happened or when it's happened and all the rest of this. And my question would be, is that, among other things, besides not getting the notices, that there was really no permits that I saw visible. And maybe
There
it's
was
my
definitely
reluctance
permits.
in going through.
Yeah. Okay. I think
That's fine.
we
That's
got
fine.
to
I'll leave it-
we
I'll
got
leave it
to
at
all
that.
the. Yeah, thank you, Kenneth. We did get to all the questions, and I did promise Nancy she could finish since she kicked it off. So Nancy, if you're still on the call, and we are starting to see people leave the meeting now, so let's wrap it up. It's been a long, what is it, hour and a half.
Thank
Nancy,
you,
you get the last word. Thank you, Ken. Go ahead, Nancy.
Thank you very much, Alderman Hopkins. And my questions were answered except for this last one. Could you post the plan of operation on your website so that we can see it?
Yes, I will do so.
Thank you. And again, thank you very much for doing this. You're showing a lot of respect for our community. And thank you, Marcy, for your help also.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time. And I would say that people obviously have very strong feelings and strong opinions. But despite that, for the most part, everyone did honor the request to keep it civil because, you know, in today's world, meetings don't always maintain that level of civility. And I think it's important to all of us to keep decorum. And we did so tonight, and we got the questions answered. Some of them are still pending, and we have more work to do on this proposal, obviously. So stay tuned for further notification. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.